Welcome to CLIC Connect. I'm your host, Craig Sullivan. And today we've got one of our industry leaders joining us. We've got Mr. Vinay Patel, the current chairman of AAHOA, joining us from the Hunter Conference. But before we bring him out, I would like to thank our production partners, Radisson Hotels of the Americas, and our good friends over at Chicago Title, National Commercial Service Group, California. If you're thinking about a new brand, give our friends at Radisson a call. Let them know that producer Danny and I sent you. And also, if you need to get your real estate transactions closed on time, call our friends at Chicago Title, National Commercial Services Group, and let them know that we sent you there as well. With that out of the way, it is an honor and a pleasure to welcome Mr. Vinay Patel, 2022 chairman of AAHOA, to CLIC Connect. Vinay, how are you? And welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, I'm doing really well. Thank you. I appreciate the fact that I get a chance to get on the show with you here. I'm at the Hunter Conference today, and you talk about the I'm not saying it's irrational exuberance in any way at all, but at the end of the day, you see the vibrancy of our industry. Yep. It's amazing. And so I think I saw the same thing last week or 2 weeks ago when I was in LA at the CLIC conference as well. So it feels good as a hotelier. If you're a hotelier, owner, operator, whatever, it feels good to be in the industry. So I'm glad that we're in this time right now to kind of looking ahead here.
I couldn't agree more with you. I think we saw it was more than just guarded optimism. We know we still have some challenges, labor, cost of funds, various other things. But we were all together in a room, okay? We went through what was going on in California, and we'll talk about Hunter in a little bit. But it was great to see everybody, and be able to have our discussions and bring industry leaders like yourself, to the forefront and get your opinions out to the owner operators here in California. And I thank you for that. And the continued support from AAHOA. They're a founding sponsor of CLIC. They're greatly appreciated. So, and we got to make a donation to your scholarship fund. So that was always good.
So, yeah. The thing is that scholarship fund, you talk about scholarship funds and you talk about, and again, this may be part of the subject matter, but you look at the future of the industry, it's in the younger people that are here. Yeah. So even at the Hunter, I've been talking to a lot of younger students from Michigan State to Virginia Tech, and even at Alice, I spoke to a lot of students there as well. And these are the people that are the future of our industry. And so I'm glad that and I appreciate the fact that you and a lot of the industry partners are stepping up to make sure that this industry stays vibrant for the next 50, 100 years or so.
It really has to. We're in the hospitality business. We're in the people business. We take care of them. We give them security, a place to rest, to recharge their batteries, to have a vacation with their family. And sadly, through the vast majority of the nearly 29 years I've been in the industry, we have not done a good job at recruiting. Yeah. And not everybody has to go to Wall Street, and I've been banging that drum for a long time. And when we set up CLIC, it was truly one of the 4 pillars was to give back to the community and by way of scholarship donations. So it's our privilege to help an industry that's helped me and my family for my career. So absolutely. Yeah, so Vinay, one or two people that may not know you, please tell them about yourself, your firm, and AAHOA.
Sure. My name is Vinay Patel. I'm based right outside of Washington, D.C. in Fairfax, Virginia. And I've got the typical AAHOA story. My parents moved here, migrated from Africa, and I migrated with them. And obviously I grew up here with them and did everything from front desk to housekeeping to maintenance to help them out in terms of the small motel. And, I got married. And then afterwards I started running my own small motel. And I've got a college degree here. And so I said, look, hey, I've got a college degree here. Not that nothing against running a small business in any way at all, but how do I kind of scale this and get it bigger and bigger? And so we ended up building in bigger hotels. And after that, it's just one after the other. We build, bought, sold, whatever. And so currently I'm president and CEO of Fairbrook Hotels, which is based outside of Washington, D.C. in Fairfax, Virginia. And so we own and operate 12 hotels. And that includes everything. I've got an ESA, an extended stay America from economy perspective, to a micro hotel, to a Days Inn, to a couple of country inn suites, to a loft, to a Holiday Inn, to a Hampton Inn and a True. So we've got a little bit of it all in terms of the brands that we represent from a company perspective. But more importantly for me personally is the fact that I also moonlight as the chair of the AAHOA, for Asian American Hotel Owners Association. And so you talk about the enlightenment that I've had over the last 4 years as an officer, and over the last year in terms of being as a chair of the association. It's been great in terms of all the transition that's gone through, a lot of things I've learned myself, and hopefully I was able to give back to the association, to our industry in any way possible. So that's the kind of the 2 minute sell job on my side in terms of where I'm at and where I'm doing right now. So Lord knows what I'm going to do next after 3 weeks after our convention. I'm going to take a month off and kind of relax a little bit, but we'll see what happens after that.
Absolutely. And I really don't think most of the hotel community understands the sacrifices that you make over those 4 years. I mean, you basically got two full-time jobs and a family upset at you the whole time because you're never around.
Yeah.
You're lobbying, you're going to conferences, you're in Atlanta at the headquarters. It goes on and on. And then you throw in the commitment with the pack. It's a commitment, and I thank you personally for that, because you guys have always done a great job. And I've been a card-carrying member of AAHOA since I first got into the hotel industry, and I'm very proud of that. So your organization, our organization, means the world to me. Thank you. So tell us about what you want to accomplish as chair this year. You've got an agenda. There's that one or two things that really ignited you that you want to give back to our community. What are those things that you want to try and accomplish during your chairmanship?
So, you talk about leadership, and you talk about, people sit there and say, oh, well, you became a chair when it's the worst of the worst, right? You talk about pandemic times. And so to me, I think that this, when you want to lead, this is why I'd rather be here. I don't want to be leading when everything is going really, really well, because everybody can do anything positively at that time, because it's just that, the water floats, all the things up there. So for me personally, I think that's been a great opportunity for me in terms of leading this association. Obviously, you know that there's been a lot of changes from a leadership perspective as far as the president, CEO on our side. And even over the last 6 months, we've had a lot of transitions in terms of staff as well. So I feel privileged the fact that I can be involved in this decision making, and I can influence this association over the long term. And I hope that 5 years, 10 years from now, and I look back and say, okay, it was because of me that we changed this, or it's because of me that we did this here. And so I'm thinking that there are a lot of things that are relevant today. And so, you talk about the AAHOA membership. The AAHOA membership today is upset or growing over the fact that franchising is a big issue. The franchising has been a big issue. And you talk about the margins that our industry has faced, and it's not about AAHOA in itself, but as an industry, our margins have gone so laser thin over the last couple of years. Pandemic has not helped. The labor cost has not helped. The inflation has not helped, and all these things. And so how do we kind of move forward as an industry to go to better ways in the future here? So that's some of the goals that I'm looking at, and so we've looked at over the last 6 months or 8 months in terms of what we can do as an association. And one thing I will close out with here is that I feel good. I feel good in the sense that I know there's a lot of apprehension in the sense, hey, what's going on at AAHOA right now? You got a lot of transition, you got a lot of things going on, a lot of changes there. But I feel good in the sense that, hey, look, you've got a vice chair who's behind me, who will do a great job and follow what I'm thinking of doing, Bharat, and then Miraj, who's our current secretary right now, and then the future leader that we have. And so, look, is it going to be bumps? Of course, there's going to be bumps. But I think I'm so privileged, and we're all lucky that we have people like these guys who are behind me that'll take this industry, this association, to a new level.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you, my friend. So, any updates? What's going on with the AAHOA PAC right now? Anything you can talk about?
Sure. The PAC is going well. I mean, the PAC is not what it used to be. I mean, obviously, we're all in the same boat in terms of the commitments that we all make. Is it going to be at the same dollar amount as we did probably in 2018, 2019? Of course not. But I think at the end of the day, we still have engagement from our members. We just had a regional meeting in Oklahoma, and we raised almost $50,000, over $50,000 or $60,000 in PAC just from that one region.
Wow.
So, that just goes to show me that, hey, look, our guys are still involved, they're still engaged, and they realize the value and the relevancy of raising PAC dollars, and it's not easy these days. I mean, you talk about a guy who's owner operator or running a hotel, and to ask for PAC donations is not easy these days. But I think we're doing so far doing well.
Well, let me know when you're out here, raising money for the PAC. I'll shuffle my schedule around and be there, and I'll make a donation as well. That's how critical it is, everybody.
Yep.
We need our PAC. We need our trade organization. So please help. All right.
One quick plug on the
Sure.
PAC, and I use this not line, but the importance of this PAC. And we get this from our community all the time. Hey, look, I'm going to donate $500, $1,000, or $5,000, and it's like people expect an ROI, and that's one of the biggest challenges with the PAC is that we're avoiding problems that you'll never see.
Right.
So when you look at a problem and you try to deal with it, but with the PAC, those problems never arise. Because if you challenge them in advance and you talk to your legislatures and say, look, this is going to be something that's so detrimental to our industry, let's not even put it on the table to vote. But nobody sees that, right? And so these are the PAC dollars help that level of things behind the scenes that happen. And I'm not saying in a negative way, but we avoid a lot of problems when we donate to the PAC. And so we don't get that. You may, as an owner, we may perceive that, hey, I'm not getting an ROI on the $1,000 donated, but the problem is that you never saw the problem, was we avoided the problem because of the $1,000 you donated.
Exactly. And I couldn't agree more with you. Now, if it has seen the light of day, and, I use this comparison a lot. It's like, Frankenstein's monster's gotten out and we're the villagers with pitchforks and torches. That's when that, things didn't go well and we need to rally our community and try and shut this down and work with the other trade organizations as well. And, since the inception of the AAHOA PAC, I've noticed that, that behind the scenes has been more and more, and that you guys have been doing a great job. So thank you for that as well. So AAHOACon's coming up, my friend. What do you want to share about AAHOACon?
Yeah, the AAHOACon is always a great event. I'm in Hunter obviously right now, and just talked to a lot of partners and members that are coming to the show here. And we're excited. We're expecting a good crowd. We're expecting around like 4,000 people to come to the convention. We've got a great lineup. We've got Ray Lewis, who's going to be speaking, keynote speaker on our first day. And then on our third day, we've got Jay Shetty, who's a motivational speaker. And then we've got Bill Marriott, who's going to come out there. And we're going to give him an award, and so we're going to give him an award. So he's going to come out there as well. So we've got a good entertainment in terms of the stage that we have there, and we've got Sean, who's an singer as well. So at the end of the day, when you come to the AAHOA events here, and I was talking to a lot of younger people here today as well. Like, look, if you want to come to an event that is great and is fun, come to the AAHOA convention. You get a lot of education, you'll get a lot of motivational speakers, and you'll get great entertainment all together. So it's all packed in one. And many of you, as you guys know, the AAHOA membership want to have good food.
Oh, yeah.
The food is the most important thing. It's like any wedding you go to, you got to have great food. And so we'll make sure that the food there is going to be spectacular in terms of what we deliver there. So we're looking for a great convention here coming up soon.
Absolutely. And you know what? I've never had a bad meal at AAHOACon. And the networking is second to none. Everybody is there, and I'm looking forward to being in Baltimore and being there as well. Matter of fact, I think Glenn Hausman and I are doing a live Friday night audit at least once from AAHOACon, so we're looking forward to that. So, my friend, what are your impressions of the Hunter Conference? You're there right now. What's the vibe? What's the feeling? What's the buzz?
It's similar to what I experienced last week or 2 weeks ago at the CLIC conference as well. I mean, there's a good momentum. I think that we're kind of at the bottom not the bottom of the curve, but bottom there, and I feel like we're moving in the right direction. Corporate travel has been the challenge over the last 6 months to 12 months or whatever. And I see I'm not saying it's going to be back to normal in terms of the corporate travel, but I think that I see light at the end of the tunnel here. And even in my own hotels, I mean, you talk about, I've got hotels based purely on corporate travel there, and we're seeing some of that stuff come back. And so I was looking at my audit reports for most of my hotels this morning, and it's like, okay, the things are slowly coming back. And so I think that owners hoteliers and our industry overall, when you look ahead, we've got some bright days ahead of us here. So I'm looking forward to the next phase in from industry perspective.
Absolutely. So, we had record hotel sales last year at retail pricing. The crash and burn that, the doom and gloom people were predicting did not happen. A lot of stuff did get kicked down the road. But what do you see going into the remainder of 2022 and 2023 for hotel sales?
It's excitement. I mean, I hate to say this here, I myself, and I was talking to a couple of vendors last year at the AAHOA conference, and even this year at the Hunter conference here, and talking to a lot of people here. And you would think that from a normalcy perspective, hey, look, you're coming out of a pandemic. The industry has taken huge hits. You talk about hits, we've taken a huge hits. And you would think that now is a great time to buy and get in the industry. And I'm not saying it's a bad time, but the reality is that if you want to get in the industry, it's not priced cheap. It's
Right.
still priced high. And it's not even about California. I see it across the country when I talk to a lot of different AAHOA members that, hey, look, we can't find hotels at the pricing that they're expecting. So I think the reality is that we've come out a long way. There's a lot of money on the sidelines. There's a lot of people that want to invest back into hotels or get back in the industry. So, look, it looks really good. I mean, I sold a hotel last year. You would think that why would you ever want to sell a hotel after a pandemic? You want to sell it at the peak, but I was able to get a pricing that was above the peak. So I think that we've got some bright things ahead. Obviously, financing is going to be a little bit of a challenge. Interest rates rising is a little bit of a challenge. Lenders are still being conservative in terms of how they lend, which is, at the end of the day, may not be a good or bad, but I think it's a good thing on the long term because you don't want to make stupid mistakes and be coming back in this situation a couple years from now.
I agree. I think, it's, unfortunately, we need to have that guardrail to protect ourselves from over encumbering a piece of property. We've got a lot of people that, just want to come in, prove their pro forma, and try and sell it at the peak of the market before everything slides. And, I'm not sure that that's really a great strategy. I'm more about, the hotels that I'm invested in. It's the long-term hold. It's building generational wealth.
Yeah.
Now, saying that, everything's for sale at the right price. Okay. So yeah, but I'm not going to go into something and go, okay, we're going to do a 2, maybe 3-year hold and try and sell it. No, we're looking for the long-term hold. Yeah. So you've got all the brands at Hunter right now. What are you hearing about conversions? Because I think that's the journey we're all going down right now. Some of the PIPs are coming in and they're dramatically higher than what any of us expected. Now, I know a good broker, when you've got them involved, they've got that change of ownership PIP already ordered with the brand, so the buyer can see what that is. You've got a good idea as being the seller what that's going to be, and maybe that spurred on the sale, or you decided to hang on to the property and now you're going to do a brand conversion. So what do you think of all of that?
Yeah, conversion is a great opportunity right now, but you simply cannot build anymore, right? I mean, not let me rephrase it. You cannot not build. You can always build, but the cost structure is very, very high. You talk about materials, lumber to labor to whatever else is out there. So what we paid probably 2-3 years ago, you cannot build that same hotel today. So with that said, hey, for me as an owner, looking to develop or grow, hey, how do I kind of buy an older asset or an asset that I can convert to something that's out there? And so you're right, it's expensive. You just got to make sure that you can budget for that. Obviously, you got supply chain issues as well in terms of what you can get in and timing wise. So it is becoming a challenge, but you do have to price that in terms of when you do the conversion. But it's a great opportunity to do any kind of conversions right now.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more with you. And did you build that True Hotel that you own?
Yeah, we just opened it up.
I love that brand. I think that's that hit on all the right marks with the millennials, the Gen Y, Gen Z. I think it's a great hotel, and I think it's congratulations to you. That's wonderful. I'd love to get into one of those.
Yeah, and one thing I would tell this to all the brands as an owner's perspective, and nothing. Yeah. I'm not pushing Hilton, Marriott in any way at all. That's not my point here. But I'll tell you that you go back to that brand and any brand that's out there, if it's simple and easy, and you've got simple directions in terms of technology, in terms of building the box and how you have there, it makes it so much easier for us as an owner to develop that. And then after that, it just makes sense. And so I agree with you more the fact that, hey, look, in the truth situation, it has just been one of those things where, look, it's a simple box, it's a simple operations, and it works. And so you can't, it checks all the boxes off when you develop a box.
Absolutely. So, my friend, we had the return of the Great American Road Trip last year. Are we going to have the Great American Road Trip 2.0 this year? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, even despite the gas prices, I know the gas prices are still up there, but it's not easy to travel abroad. I mean, I've canceled trips across because I've got to do this. I got to go through so many hurdles to take a trip abroad. So I think in the near short term, and what I mean by that is probably this summer into this year, we're still, the Great American Road Trip is still there. And one of the things that I feel good about the USA is that you technically don't have to travel abroad. I mean, if you want the beaches, you want historic, you want mountains, you get everything in the USA. And so I think one of the things that we as a community, as a country, realize that, hey, look, we typically don't have to. But I think this, in the next 6 months, will probably still be here, even despite the gas prices, but it's still not as easy to travel abroad. I know there's a lot of options there, but still, people are still a little bit hesitant in terms of traveling.
I agree. I think we got to keep that money in the country and support our hospitality community and our partners. Whether it's driving or flying or taking a train, we need to promote tourism within the United States. So, all right, my friend, you ready for our lightning round?
Sure.
All right. Producer Danny's going to put 2 minutes on the clock. We're going to start right now. Labor.
High.
Team.
Have to have it.
Amenities.
Need it.
Road warrior.
Coming.
Ground up or conversion?
Ground up.
Leisure.
Gotta have it.
Favorite airport?
Washington Dulles.
Tequila or Blue Label?
Tequila.
Favorite hotel or resort?
The Waldorf, not Waldorf, sorry, the Grand Wailea in Hawaii.
Ooh, one of my favorites. My client was the initial owner, operator, builder on that. Drive or fly?
Fly.
There you go. You did that with 1:07 left on the clock. I think you set a record, my friend. Congratulations.
So, easy answers, easy questions.
Yeah, it's just something to have some fun with, little insight. So let's talk about team. I obviously the past 2.5 years have been horrendous for everybody. How do you keep your team together, and how do you keep them energized so that they're smiling and working to their peak proficiencies? Because a lot of them are putting in a lot of overtime right now because we are short-staffed. And how do you try and correct that, and get some more bodies at the hotel and add to your team?
Yeah, the thing is that the team is absolutely critical right now. And the one word that I can use, and I think that's really worked well for us, is empathy. If you have the empathy towards your team members and understand that the viewpoint and the situation they're in, whether it be front desk, housekeeping, or GM, or even from a VP level or whatever, and so if you look at that viewpoint and put yourself in their seat, and you showed empathy, that has been the common denominator for us. And look, at the end of the day, do we have labor problems at our hotels as well? Of course we do. But I'm not saying that we're struggling to the point where we're not cleaning rooms, or we're not selling rooms, or we're not conducting our business. I think so. The word I would use and suggest to everybody is to use the word empathy towards your staff, because you got to give them credit. Without them, you simply cannot run a business. You cannot do anything, and you just simply cannot do that.
Great answer, my friend. We're out of time. I don't want to cut you loose, but you also need to get back to the Hunter Conference today. Thank you for joining us today. How can people get a hold of you? It's a shameless plug for you, AAHOA, and your business.
Sure. Yeah. Vinay Patel at AAHOA.com, or, Vinay Patel. I'm on LinkedIn. And if anybody needs help, thoughts, questions, or suggestions, or need my help, or whatever, I think you know me well enough that I'm here available for the industry as a whole. And Craig, I appreciate you for the fact that you've done so much for our industry, especially in the California area here. And so you've done so well. So thank you very much on the behalf of AAHOA and the entire team.
Oh, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you and everything you guys have been doing for us. And you've got an open invitation to come back and join us anytime you want, Vinay. Thank you very much.
Definitely. Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you, our audience, for joining us today. And I also want to thank our production partners, Radisson Hotels of the Americas and Chicago Title National Commercial Services Group, California. Without them, without you, without our guests, we don't have a show. So thank you for joining us. Please remember to follow us on all the social media outlets. And if you're over on our YouTube channel, smash that bell, subscribe, like us, and you'll get notifications every time a new episode drops. So always remember, be kind, share your knowledge. Now go be amazing.